Welcome back, everybody, to Brown Bag Bets, powered by BetSperts. We are your daily dose of quick hit handicapping and sports betting picks. I'm Alex Christensen, and joining me as always on Tuesdays, Mr. Matthew Rooney. And he's over talking about golf and some other show that, I'll probably watch. Maybe you should too after this is done, which is good, Matt, because I made an NBA pick that we'll talk about later that Andy disagrees with, so he can't be here to argue.
Ooh, I like that. I'll be the third party. I'll be in the middle and pick sides. I'll probably just pick you because you're here, and I like making Andy a little bit upset. It's kind of a hobby of mine. But gotta ask you. I know we got Monday Night Football recap here. What happened last night? Just a kind of a sleep. I mean, long term, probably not too worried, but just kind of like just a sleepy effort there.
I was going to say, talking about picks, those Philadelphia Eagles sure did turn the ball over a whole lot.
Yeah.
And, maybe I violated my own theory. I didn't get a chance to listen to Eagles Talk Radio to see kind of how everybody felt about that. And if you listen to the show yesterday, I mentioned that the Eagles have the least turnovers in the league, the Washington Commanders with the least takeaways. Well, that should be a little different coming up here. I mean, just like you said, a super messy game and just strange to have it finish the way it did. The Eagles being at home generally play very well there. Always good motivation playing in front of that Philadelphia crowd. They scored the first touchdown pretty easily, 14-7 after the first quarter, and then just kind of got smacked around for the next three quarters. It was sloppy. It was ugly. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to take away from that. It's hard to say it's a look-ahead spot or something for the Eagles. I don't know. It's very strange.
Yeah, Dan makes a good point in the chat there. Like the Eagles stopping the run is starting to become a little bit of like a trend here. Now, sorry, being unable to stop the run, I should say, becoming a little bit of a trend here. And I think that's something that, they probably need to figure out a way to fix up a little bit. But other than that, I think you learned more about Washington last night than anything. I think it was probably, not that you want to call it a look ahead spot, but like, I don't know, it was playing on Monday Night Football against a team that's under 500 with a backup quarterback playing. And the Eagles were, no pun intended, flying pretty high, 8-0. Like, yeah, I could see how you maybe come out a little bit looking past the opponent. And on the other side, you had a quarterback in Taylor Heineke who was quite literally playing for a job. And if he didn't win it, I'm not sure what Washington and Ron Rivera are doing. I'm pretty sure he keeps that job for now. But he played really, really well. And Washington just made a bunch of big plays. They got some turnover luck. They got away with a couple calls. But, I mean, they made big plays when they really had to. And Terry McLaurin was just fantastic again last night, too. I love watching Taylor Heineke, too.
It is. I like Heineke, especially as someone that owns Scary Terry in a couple fantasy leagues. He's just been much better. And the Eagles on defense is not great. I mean, the team is built to get a lead and kind of hold that lead. You're generally worried a little less about having the ball run against you when you're up a bunch of points. And again, not that a 7-point lead is anything huge, but just the fact that they stopped scoring, 0 points in the second and third quarter, that's just so bizarre to me against, again, a Washington defense teams have been able to score against, and especially the way the Eagles like to play. I just kind of thought they methodically, little runs here and there, some RPOs, occasionally stretch it out with the throw to maybe Goddard or A.J. Brown or something like that. But for them to go totally cold, that's what I'd be a little more concerned about. And, I have to wonder if maybe it's some of the injuries and things that they picked up last night. I saw Jason Kelce go off. I don't know if he came back on. I wasn't watching maybe as closely as I should have in the second half. But if he's beat up, that's really going to be a
tough loss. For them. Yeah. But I still think they figure out they'll still win that division. They'll still be fun. They're still the best team in the division. We learned that we can't really fully trust the Cowboys. I love the way the New York Giants are playing football, and they're going to go to the playoffs at this point. It'd take a pretty big collapse not to, but I just don't really fully buy them. I think the Eagles are still the best team in that division and still probably cruise to a win. But there's, if you can run the ball successfully, you're going to have your chances against that Eagles team, I think is what we learned.
Yeah, it's exactly. If you can get the ball and sort of keep it moving. Again, Commanders 1 time of possession, I think almost 2-1, which is always kind of one of the funnier stats. I don't know if that really tells you a whole lot, but it looks like Jason Kelce might have gotten a little bit hurt. So we'll see. Again, the Eagles had to lose eventually. It takes all the pressure off. There's a lot of season left. I still think they're the best team in the NFC. I mean,
I agree. I mean, they played. I know it was early in the season. They played the Vikings, and that game was not close. The Vikings have probably gotten better since then, but the NFC is just not all that good. And I think the Eagles by far have the highest ceiling of any team right now in that conference.
So again, hopefully it gets them refocused and locked in because, you never want to be undefeated, which I always hate when people say it's stupid. Of course you want to be undefeated. You want to win every stinking game. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. But let's get into things that are more fun. So football that really will entertain the people. And this must be a mistake. Right? This
No,
is a
no,
mistake.
this isn't a mistake. This is the same thing we did last week. We're back in Ohio. We back underdogs, overs, except when Ohio's the favorite. We're backing Ohio. We backed them on a slight. I think they were 1.5, 2-point favorites last week in their game. They absolutely cruised to a win. They're playing very good football. They have the best quarterback in the MAC, and Curtis Rourke. We're going to back him. He's got a 24-4 touchdown interception ratio this year. Ohio also doesn't play very good defense. They're allowing over 30 points a game. They got Ball State, who's not the best offensive team, but they're good enough, and I think they'll be able to put up some points at home on this Ohio defense. So we're going to take the better quarterback on the road in a tough environment, a toughish environment in Muncie, Indiana. We're going to take Ohio, laying the 3.5. If you can find it at a 3, I don't think you can. I would love to get that, but usually I saw mostly 3.5 or 4 this morning, so try and grab the 3.5. And we're going to take them and the over against Ball State tonight. Also, I should say both weather forecasts for these games in Muncie and in Toledo are like 40s and pretty clear, so no real weather to be worried about. And then the second one, we're going with a strict underdog and over. We're taking the 15.5 points with Bowling Green. I'm a little scared about this one because Bowling Green's offense has been really not good the last 2 games out. They lost to Kent State 40-6 last week, and they beat Western Michigan 2 weeks ago 13-9, and Western Michigan hasn't been very good. So I'm a little worried about this one, but we're going to stick to the system. We're going to take the 15.5 points, and we're going to take the over 50.5. I think Toledo's going to be able to score a lot of points, and if Bowling Green can do their part against the very meh Toledo defense, I think we'll be okay. So underdogs, overs, and Ohio. Sticking to the formula. We're 13-7 now for those of you keeping score with that formula.
Muncie,
so we'll take that.
Muncie, Indiana, the vacation spot of the Gergich family.
I was going to ask if you're a Parks and Rec fan. Everybody loves Muncie.
Exactly. Gary and Gail, or Jerry and Gail. I can never actually remember what his real name was, but I love MACtion. It's just a brilliant idea. Kudos, and I want to say this every week, almost anytime we talk about this. Kudos to the MAC.
Hats off.
Other conferences, get out there. Own some day of the week. Own some weird part of the schedule. Let's do it.
Somebody take the Tuesday, Wednesday nights in October. So, because MAC starts in November. Conference USA, Sunbelt, I'm looking at you. Go get Wednesdays and Tuesdays in October. And so, so we don't have that layoff in between Monday and Thursday. Come on now.
Let's get a West Coast conference. How about late night MACtion?
Ooh, give me the whack at like
MACtion after
9:30 p.m. on a Tuesday.
WACtion.
Are you kidding me? WACtion after dark? Oh, we got to we got to get on the phone with the WAC commissioner. Excuse me.
This is
we got $1 million.
This is now a verbal copyright or patent pending situation for the WAC.
We'll call our lawyer.
All right, let's get into some basketball. Kind of a tough night. The Raptors fell apart for us a little bit. We'll see how it goes. It's a short slate. As I mentioned, Andy is not here, and he is in an NBA chat. As surprising as that may be, Matt, he does, more comic relief, but he does provide a little bit of value to the NBA chat, and had 2 picks today. One of them was actually the opposite of the one that I have. The other pick that he made, he likes the Pelicans, -3. I can kind of dig that, but there's a game on a little bit later tonight. The Brooklyn Nets are going to be visiting the Sacramento Kings, and the Kings are favored. I'm not really sure why. I can't really wrap my head around that. I stared at
Haven't
it for
the Nets
a while.
played better without Kyrie too?
Yes. Significantly better.
I don't know. Okay, I'm going to bet this now because I have to, but why?
Andy's an adventurous guy. He likes to do a lot of crazy stuff, and betting the Kings is a favorite. It did work out for us once this year. We laid 4 points with them on the road, and they somehow covered despite being down, I think, most of the game for the Charlotte Hornets. But hey, you look at this matchup here. Seth Curry is probable. Joe Harris has been back. And that level of shooting has really changed what this Brooklyn Nets team is capable of. No Kyrie on the floor really simplifies things. Again, Durant is being able to take over, and they're just playing more defenders. You start to look at the players that are actually on the floor for this Brooklyn Nets team, and it just, I think, simplifies everything a little bit. Ben Simmons, I believe he is questionable tonight.
Shocker.
Let me just double check. Yeah, he's a questionable tonight. We'll see. But he hasn't really needed much. He's come off the bench. He's played good defense. It's all this team really needs. Again, guys like Royce O'Neal, a little better defenders out there. Sumner's been pretty solid, again, on the defensive end. So Just really like the way this Nets team is playing now that they're sort of consolidated and streamlined, if you will, to talk about it from a corporate perspective. I have the Nets short favorites here, -2, almost -3. Start it there. And again, always try to tweak stuff back down towards the market because the market's pretty efficient. It's generally right. So we'll see. The Nets have taken a little bit of money this morning, but, plus 105, plus 110 or better. All looks good. There's plenty of plus 115s out there. Andy's got the Kings, but suck it, Andy. Give me the Nets.
I think I'm with you on the Nets here. I can't bet the Kings as favorites over the Nets. I don't really, unless like KD's not playing, I can't take that situation. I don't see how I could.
Dan sent a picture of somebody named Carson Steele holding an alligator as a child, or I guess a crocodile.
Sure. I was wondering what caused Andy to respond into a group text or a group channel. Just what? Because usually he's got a smart comment or a funny pun back, and for him to be that shocked, like that had to be something big. I was wondering, like, did I just say or do something really bad on here? And nope, it's just a dude holding a crocodile.
Well, no, Dan says it's an alligator, but it's called Crocky J. We'll have to look more into this. While we do, I like this. It's hockey time. We got an over. We got an under.
We do.
We're sitting with 6. Those 6.5s. You're not feeling brave?
There were a couple 6.5s here, but I'm surprised the Canucks Sabres isn't at 6.5. You have a high scoring team in Buffalo and a really bad goaltending defensive team so far in Vancouver. Vancouver's goaltending this year has just been abysmal. They're 2 goalies. I think Thatcher Demko, who is a young up and coming goalie who's supposed to be one of the next better goaltenders in the NHL. He had a great bubble playoff and kind of had a pretty good year last year. It's like 1-8 with a goals against average in the 4s. I'm blanking on the name of their second goaltender, but he's got a goals against of like 3.37. So Vancouver is allowing a lot of goals. Buffalo scores a good amount of goals. They're in a little bit of a losing streak here, but they're still averaging like 3.6 goals a game or something high like that. So I think this is a good spot for them to kind of snap out of a skid. Buffalo also is not the best team defensively during this losing streak. They've been allowing a lot of goals. Vancouver has some firepower, so I think you should see some goals. I think that's why you see it close to -130 for that over 6. And Stars Lightning under 6. Dallas is going to have Jake Ottinger in net, who's been the best goalie in hockey so far this year. He's got a goals against average in the 1s. He's got a save percentage of close to 94. He's been fantastic. He missed a few games, came back, had a bad first game back against New York, but then bounced back in his next one, I believe, against your Flyers, if I'm not mistaken. And they won 5-1. He was very good. And Tampa, whose goalies are off to a little bit of a slow start. Andrei Vasilevsky, who you've heard me talk about every playoff. I've been here for a while and how good he is. He's off to a slow start this year, but it's a home game against a Dallas team that's they're not bad offensive team, but by no means the best offensive team in hockey. I think it's a good bounce back spot for him. And -106 for 2 of the best goalies in the NHL, despite Vasilevsky not playing his best hockey right now. I like that value. So I'm going to take the under 6 there and an over with 2 bad teams up top.
Stars money line. What do you think? Leg show. Put it on the line.
I don't mind it. They have the advantage in net tonight. Vasilevsky obviously is the more proven goalie, but Jake Ottinger since the playoffs has been very, very good. And Vasilevsky's off to a slower start this year. Tampa defensively has not been the same team. They lost a couple guys off the blue line that's gone to the Stanley Cup Finals each of the last 3 years. They're still figuring some things out with a new lineup. So I don't mind the Stars money line. It's some plus money there.
I can dig it. Leg Show always has a lot of fun in there. Thanks, buddy, for putting some stuff in. We always like extra picks in the chat. Let us know what you're talking about. Let us know.
I also like the road teams in tonight's match.
Maybe we know.
So,
maybe we
there
don't.
We go.
We're going to talk about it. Yeah. Tennis is back. The tournament finally starts today.
We got tennis back
yesterday.
What did you do yesterday?
I took a nap. Worked on some basketball stuff. Did some stuff around the house and all those things that I've been avoiding. For 11 months.
I got up in the morning and I was doing a little bit of work and I was looking at the Brown Bag Bets chat and just like, guys, like it's terrible news. It's like, what happened? No tennis today. I was like, oh my God, what are we going to talk about?
It's rough.
It's the one. It's like it's death, taxes, and tennis on Brown Bag Bets. That's the 3 certainties in life.
Well, we're back, baby. We got a couple of matches. One, I was a little misled. I thought this started just after this show. It looks like they're heading out onto court right now in Buenos Aires. Again, it's a 125K or challenger. Should be able to find these lines just about everywhere. The French woman, Léolia Jean-Jean, I assume, because you just kept all the consonants mostly in French. But the underdog here, plus 130, even plus 140 here is Caroline Dolhide. Looks like she's going to start first. I really love her on this surface. Again, this is the time of the year I like to look again for younger players that are underdogs, maybe going against more established names. Not like Caroline Dolheid's a great player, but has had a little hard court success in some of these smaller events towards the end of the year for the veteran. I just think she's going to be outclassed here by a younger player on the wrong surface. This was on hard courts. This price makes perfect sense to me. Might even actually back Caroline Dolheid, but on clay, again, much slower surface, involves much more, physical effort and a lot more power, to kind of hit through the clay, which Jean has. Like her as the underdog here. Again, plus 130, plus 140 in a match that I have closer to a pick 'em. Is a really good bet for me. And then one tomorrow, there's nothing better than three named players in tennis. Reka, Luca, Janie. I assume it's Janie or Janie. I'm not entirely sure. But RLJ goes up against An Lee. And again, kind of a similar handicap here. An Lee, a higher ranked player, really makes her bones on hard court. Has been playing solid tennis. Again, on hard courts the last month or so. And, gets rewarded here in the market by being a pretty solid favorite, minus 205 on clay, a surface where hold break rates drop about 10, almost 15% in some cases. Janie has been really solid on clay, has been winning, tournaments, obviously smaller tournaments at the ITF level, and really pushing some of the better players on tour when she's had opportunities like that. I like her to win this match. Again, I can see why An Lee's favored. You have the overall talent of her and, should be able to translate a little bit and may win this match, but this time should be much, much closer. I had Janie at plus 120, plus 125, even as I started to tweak some stuff. So plus 140 or better looks good there. Again, Jean's getting underway right now. They're just stepping out onto court. Looks like we're starting a little early for some reason. And Reka, Luca, Janie, that could be as early as 8 a.m. tomorrow. So you've got the rest of the day to get that in.
I like them. I was going to say, if the first one wasn't starting right now, I might go through a little plus money parlay together and see what happens. Dan knows who everybody is.
Dan does know who everybody is.
He really does. Speaking of Dan, this afternoon, 1 o'clock, catch us on the Blogger Bowl Tuesday. We're going to recap week 10. Oh, no, God, week 11. I'm so sad the football's getting so close to being over. Week 11 in the college football season. We're going to take a look at some early lines for week 12, maybe talk a little bit of MACtion. Who knows? We're supposed to have a snow game this weekend in the MAC, so with like feet of snow. So that should be fun, like feet.
I wish that there was some rule that if it was snowing, they had to move a football game there. Just somebody, whatever the closest football game to the snow is, everybody get in the buses, drive them out. Let's get a field. Football in the snow. It's the best.
That should be, the MAC should do that. That should be part of their thing. Is not only we're going to play on Tuesdays where it's snowing. If it's snowing, we have to go there. That's a MAC thing on Tuesday and Wednesday night.
All right. A lot of great ideas. If you have a college football conference that's looking to do some funky stuff today on the show,
call us. We're great consultants.
Thanks, everybody, for watching. Great job in the comments, and we'll see you tomorrow for a little hump day action.